Hey everybody, Rob the Metal Guy here, and I'm making a video to start off the new year while talking about music from last year. And before we start this video, to those who watch the channel regularly and are subscribed, thank you very much for supporting me over this past year in 2025. Looking ahead to 2026, we'll see. I'm going to try to make a little more regular content. I'm not going to start a resolution because I swear, the people that start off the new year talking resolutions, they annoy me because one, they never happen. People set some wacky goal like I'm going to become the next Arnold Schwarzenegger, like a person I knew, and I think they became a Twitch streamer. They became a Fast and Furious driver. They became everything. They always change their persona. So anytime anyone says to me I'm starting some resolution, my belief is just try your best. So in the coming year, I'll make an effort because I do have a lot of actually updates in the vinyl collection that I would like to share and talk about. Went to Rasputin's yesterday in Campbell, California, near San Jose, that area, and picked up a pretty cool release. And actually, I'll bring it up right now because it's right next to me. Here we go. Got Rat. Invasion of Your Privacy. It's a good release. If you want to see this, there you go. Get that vinyl color. Remastered, reissued, whatever this you want to call it. Just probably put on vinyl. Now I'm struggling to put it back. But anyway, yeah, it was a good find. I decided to get it because Invasion of Your Privacy is an album I do like. Specifically, I like the opening track, You're in Love. It's a fun riff to play. Actually, I was playing on my guitar last week. So, thought I'd just mention that. And then, there's some other stuff too. Actually, I got Deicide. Since it's right here, Serpents of the Light. Got this at Rasputin's actually in December when I had a day off and went down to San Jose and was in that area. So I stopped by Rasputin's and got this, Serpents of the Light. Killer Deicide release. Production quality on the guitars is alright. But the songs, I always love the songs on this. Like, I'd have to say that Blame It on God, that's probably one of my favorite tracks. The lyrics on here are hilarious. Slave to the Cross. And then I'd have to probably also say, this is tough, but Serpents of the Light, the song's pretty good. Good riff. And then this is interesting. It's on a blue vinyl, as you see there. Pretty cool. Deicide have been reissuing. I have the reissued on special vinyl of the first self-titled, which I consider one of the heaviest, most extreme death metal albums to date. One of the most influential albums for damn sure. Got to give it that. And then the other album that I picked up this year, I thought, I'd give a quick mention before we get into the top 10 albums of 2025. This is the Reegs, for all you fans of post-punk, progressive rock. Dave Fielding and Reg Smithies of the Chameleons. They had a band. They had a singer actually sing on a few tracks, Gary Lavery. And Reg and David, two phenomenal guitarists from the Chameleons. And they did this after the Chameleons kind of stopped there. This came out like the late 80s. And if you want to see, I love the artwork or the photography, as well as the artwork that Reg did for this. That I have the long sleeve I bought as well when I got this. And this is on a cool blue vinyl. Again, the art done by Reg. That's awesome. You get the photos too. There's David and Reg hanging out. Got the guitar there. Pretty cool. And you got some, it's kind of like liner notes written by Stephen Canavan. And this is number 158 out of 500. So there's still some copies available, people. If you go to the Chameleons website, you might have to pay a little bit in shipping fees because that's just what it is right now. I actually have a release I'm still waiting on because the label said, and right now with the cost of shipping, they might not be able to ship it because shipping to the U.S. has gotten so ridiculous and just how it is. Shipping costs been going high for a while though. It's been crazy. If you can find cheap shipping, gotta do it, man. But anyway, let's get into this. Apologies if I'm going to start looking over this way and seeming unprofessional, but this is how I'm going to go off again, I know the top three for sure. My 3 albums I actually will show. I have them. But for the 10, I'm just going to kind of go through this quickly. If you want to read a little more of my descriptions, you can check out the blog. I'll leave the link below. But to start, number 10, I have a South Korean sludge band, Gothrop. They put out a really solid release called Kuboa, and they're from South Korea, as I just mentioned earlier there. And heavy stuff. If you like Newthrush, Grief, you could hear the influences on this release. And Sentient Ruin was the one that put this out, and sure enough, Sentient Ruin had a solid year, like they always do. That's probably one of the best extreme labels right now. I'd say just across the board, you know, when it comes to death metal, black metal, sludge, crust punk, Sentient Ruin, they find these artists from all around the globe, and sure enough, have this band put out their release and just deliver. Really liked it. So if you like sludge metal, check it out, Gothrop. And then number 9, another Sentient Ruin band that put out an album this year from Canada. Prophetic Suffering is the band, and the album Rivalry of Thyself. Old school blistering death metal, just a lot of monstrous sounding riffs, just that old school 90s feel to it. Kind of reminding me a bit of Hate Eternal, just how it has that kind of the late 90s, even early 2000s death metal feel, where it's just full intensity, no slowing down, just hits you right from the start. And Prophetic Suffering, one of the many great extreme metal bands from Canada right now. Gosh, Canada's got some really good artists coming out. Empty Chalice, we'll be talking about them a little later here. And then number 8 is Phantom, Tyrant's Wrath. But Phantom has been around for a little while here, and they've been making waves. Band from Mexico, and they put out a great debut album, Handed to Execution. I love that album. And the Tyrant's Wrath is good. It's not to be overlooked. It just sucks when a band puts out such a good first album and you hear it and you're like, wow, blows you away. To me, that album had a little more death thrash feel, where this new album, Tyrant's Wrath, I'd have to say even had more New Wave British heavy metal influence, which wasn't bad. I kind of liked, there was some more melodic kind of style riffs, which at first I was like, well, this is different. But then you still had the just hard-hitting death kind of thrash feel that you heard on the first release and the early stuff that this band's been doing. But they've been working hard. You know, they're a young band, and they've been putting out some really good material, music videos. Yeah, Phantom, if you have not heard of them, check them out, from Mexico. They're talented, man. And I believe they toured the U.S. I wish I had seen them. I don't know if they had come through the area, but hoping they come back, because they are a solid group. Perdition Temple is number 7 for my albums of 2025. This album came out a little later. Malign, and I'm going to probably Apotheosis is Apotheosis. Ah, God. Pronunciations. You never believe I went to college. But Perdition Temple put out, again, solid release, great band. They're a veteran presence, right? They have just the ability to come up with albums and deliver some solid, just brutal material. You don't really have to even like question if you like extreme metal music. Hey, is this a band I should check out? It's just come on, do it, because they're solid. And I know they played in Texas. There were some shows, and Empty Chalice opened for them, and damn, I wish I could have gone, because I watched some of the clips, some killer shows. But Perdition Temple is an act that I just have to say, they deliver, and they worked with Hells, I believe, on this release, putting it out. And it came out a little later, so I always say that this might have been an album that I might have put up even higher, or actually, lower, closer to, the top 5. But that's what happens sometimes when bands put out albums later in the year. It's tough. That's why I always hate making these lists, because there are times like Satanic Warmaster put out, I'll never forget, one of their albums, and they've done it before. Like Satanic Warmaster has done this, where Werewolf will put out an album like at the end of a year or the start of it. It's like, well, where do I put this? Do I put this on this album of the year? Or because that's what, and I'll pull it up here. This is what Exaltation of Cruelty was to me. This album, you don't even have to put it on a top 10 album list of a year. It's just a guaranteed great album. If you love black metal, this is top tier black metal right here. And I think he's doing it again. But I don't know. Actually, I believe there's a new album coming out in 2026. There hasn't been an official date release, but I listened to on YouTube the cassette rough demo or something that was available just recently. And I'm thinking, man, this guy just doesn't stop. Kind of like Perdition Temple. You're guaranteed a solid release. There's no questioning to it. You're lucky that you have an artist that when they go in the studio or they start recording new music, it's downright brutal. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, but that was number 7. Number 6, Moonlight Haze, the album Beyond. This is a power metal album, and I have to say that when it comes to power metal, very, very selective, especially now. It's gotten too gimmicky, too silly, too many fairies, too many of all this other stuff. But what I liked about Moonlight Haze, the singer, she's got a powerful voice. And the songwriting is really exceptional. And the guitar playing, everything about their music is well done. They're a band that I can definitely say that if you like power metal or you are, interested in power metal music, you should check them out. I mean, if you're not a power metal fan, I don't see you liking this. And even I can understand where if you like more of the extreme stuff, this is going to be something like, But honestly, the quality of the singer, her voice is amazing, right? She has a great range, so that's why some of the songs on this kind of stood out because of her delivery. I was really impressed. Number 5, Matt Lasser with Jungian House Dreams. A good buddy of mine, Matt. He's been making a lot of great music lately. He, of course, is the mastermind behind Pale Cremation, a more sludgy doom act, which kind of its roots, you could say, were started when Matt, he moved away and he was in a band called Mournful Cries, a great doom band if you like old school doom metal, Saint Vitus influenced. Again, the title Mournful Cries. Matt played bass and he moved away and then he started doing his own thing, right? He's just driven to make music. And he put out a bunch of releases, and then he decided, hey, I'm going to put out an album under my name, my solo album. And sure enough, he mixed all these different elements, right? He showed that he loves post-punk, he loves synth, he loves, again, old school heavy metal, progressive rock. I definitely heard that at times. Again, his love of Rush, King Crimson, all those different types of, progressive rock bands. He blended so much, and that's what I thought Jungian House Dreams was kind of like, wow, this is so unique. It was different, and it was well done. And this is a guy doing a lot himself. He had some people play, drummers, got to give shout outs to all the different people that there was other people involved, but he really brings us all together, his creativity and the influences, right? Because him and I would talk about it. We were messaging, talking about how this album really was, like, I would say, like a very complete and dynamic release, right? It's just everything from the sound to his I just thought his musicianship. And again, he's an amazing bassist. I mean, Pale Cremation, he played some killer riffs on those releases and guitar, and then his bass playing in Mournful Cries. And I'm even going to go back to when he played in Scrape the Earth. Back in Petaluma when I was seeing him at the Phoenix Theater, man, he would, like, before their set, right, they're just doing sound check, right, and he's just warming up, and he would lay down, like, the doomiest, heaviest bass, like, lines you could ever hear. It was, like, straight out of, like, the Geezer Butler playbook or something. Like, he would come up with stuff that you'd just be, like, blown away, or he'd take a Black Sabbath, like, bass line, right, and he'd just start jamming on it before their set, and I was like, this guy. So when he joined Mournful Cries, I was in shock. Like, I was like, this is perfect. This fit, right? And then when he would start doing Pale Cremation, it was like, he's got the drive, and now Jungian House Dreams just kind of like brings it all together. And I really, really was impressed with what he did, and I respect the work, man. So check it out. Number 4, Uranium, Corrosion of Existence. Uranium is one of Sentient Ruin's most diabolical, one-man, blackened, industrial, just complete, chaotic artists, right? The noise, the evil, the heaviness, the sound clips of nuclear Armageddon and the the world after an atomic waste, atomic bomb drops and there's a wasteland, right? And that's what I've always appreciated about Sentient Ruin, finding these artists that bring such a surrealistic kind of feel to the music. There's nothing gimmicky, there's nothing cheap about it, man. This isn't, some Toys R Us metal crap. This is like vivid, heavy stuff. So shout out to Uranium. This release is really solid, and Uranium has been putting out good releases over the past few years with Sentient Ruin, and this one just takes it to the next level, right? You can't even imagine it sometimes. You're thinking, I thought the last Uranium release was a what the hell moment for me. Like, damn, this thing's so heavy and insane and just all over the map, mind altering. Well, Corrosion of Existence came out 2025, and talk about going to the next level. All right, number 3. Gonna show off. Got the Demon Smoke, their sophomore release, Resin Rot. This is number 3. Probably one of the best metal releases I think of this year. Got some of the heaviest riffs. Thought the vocals on this, pure, vile, unapologetic, sludge, doom vocals. And I've actually already shown this off, I think, in one of my past updates for the channel. But look at that. I got the orange vinyl. Transylvanian Recordings did a good job with this. So shout out to that label, Transylvanian Recordings. But Demon Smoke, number 3 for sure. I knew they were going to be in the top 5 after I heard this because I just kept listening to it. Probably my favorite song on this is Eternal Abyss. Just heavy. Just influenced by Sleep, Church of Misery, Nuth Grush, Grief. Then, the first album to me had more of a doomy feel. This is like getting into the sludgy, just putrid kind of sounding style. I Hate God feel, which you heard it on the first album, but I always felt the first album had more of that doom kind of vibe going to it, right? The traditional doom, where this is some heaviness, and also artwork, man. Shout out to the artist on this. Actually, he got the when we get to the awards, we're going to be talking about this album again because I love this artwork. Look at that, the demon with all the red, the freaking zombie-eyed people. Oh, it's like a bloody wasteland. I love it. Alrighty, number 2. I don't even have to really look because number 2 we knew. And number 2 and number 1 was a fight because I had a hard time. But at the end of the day, I made the decision. I'm wearing the shirt for number 2 though. Gotta give a shout out to Lathe of Heaven, man. Their sophomore album, follow up to a tremendous debut release. If you're a fan of post-punk goth rock and you haven't heard of Lathe of Heaven, stop the video, go do it now. Yeah, I'm telling people to actually stop watching my video because you know what? You need to check out Lathe of Heaven if you haven't. And then come back and finish because you should also hear me talk a little later about number 1. But this release, I was a little hesitant, man. Could they actually live up? Can they somehow not just be stuck on that first album? Because, man, Bound by Naked Skies is an amazing album. One of my favorites. I listen to it almost every day. I listened to it yesterday driving to San Jose. It's an album that I can kind of play all the time. But this album, Aurora, is pretty good. And the song Aurora is exceptional, but just beyond the reach of light. Man, Gage Allison, he's one of the best vocalists right now. I'm telling you, in all of music. I'm just across the board. And singers, every style. I think Gage Allison has not just one of the best sounding voices, it's how he presents the lyrics and the validity, the substance behind his delivery is why I say he's one of the best, if not, he's the best lyricist in all of music right now. And that's not, I'm not just, saying that. When he presents emotions from soft to solemn sounds to more aggressive, angry post-punk filled, right? Rage. This guy just delivers. And also the musicians in this band, everyone in this band is great and comes up with, something that just makes this album very special. So, and the artwork too, which I believe Gage Allison, he did, which is cool. Some drawings. He does the shirt designs too. See this here? This shirt design is great. Lathe of Heaven, tremendous. So they're number 2. Number 1. Well, iconic post-punk band, the Chameleons. After many years, we've waited a long time. I'm sure people, because I was very young when their last album, full length, came out in the early 2000s. There, so I was very young. I was a kid, but other people have probably been waiting longer. But the album though came out, and this is Arctic Moon. If you are a fan of traditional, classic, new wave, post-punk style music from the 80s, that style, call it traditional. It's not really traditional. It's more the sound. They keep it going, right? And it's funny is this album to me is not some older band coming out to relive their years, a nostalgia thing. No, the songs, the sound of this album, it's a continuation of what they've always done. Tremendous songwriters, just great players. David Fielding's not on this release. I wish he was, but that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Sometimes bands, But getting Reg Smithies and Vox, the singer, bassist, back together does still have that kind of special feel to it. And the song on here, Feels Like the End of the World, the arrangement to it is tremendous. And that's the one thing about this album that really stands out. It's the arrangements. It's the production. This is top tier music, people. This is just how can you, just even if you're not a fan of this, how can you not acknowledge the talent and the creativity? And then David Bowie Takes My Hand probably is the steel showing. It steals the show, I guess you could put it, on this album, I'd have to say. And then Saviors Are a Dangerous Thing is a good track as well. Where Are You? Love the opening track on this album because that song, Where Are You, has such a catchy main riff. And I saw them live, and when they played that was right away. Saw them live, and they put on a great performance because they mixed the new songs, they played some classics, well-balanced set. And I'm glad they played the new songs because these new songs are really good. They didn't shy away where some bands, they put out a new album, especially these older bands, and they'll only play like a couple new songs because they're afraid that certain audiences just want to hear the nostalgia. They just want to hear the standards, right? Oh, just play the classics. No, the Chameleons, they didn't do that. And I really appreciated when I saw them that they brought these new songs. And the people there, when I saw them, they were going crazy. The diehard fanatic fans that were in the front, myself included, right next to the barricade, we were, from the new songs to the classics, we were singing along. And that's, to me, that was something that band, the Chameleons, should take away, that you have a fan base that loyal and diehard. Because it's about the artistic integrity that I think people appreciate from this band. So check them out if you have not heard the Chameleons. Classic new wave music, post-punk, again, very much something that I do enjoy, as well as extreme metal music. So that's why, to all the people with their Deicide Mortician shirts flipping out right now that I didn't have my number 1 album be something violent and brutal, hey, I just got to be honest. When it comes to quality, this was the number 1 release of the year. Now let's get into the Rob Melguy Awards. We'll do this quick. I've been yammering on. But an EP of the year, Sumerius, Rain Destroyer from Sentient Ruin. Solid release, really good. Have it in my collection. I've talked about it before. I actually kind of spent a lot of time talking about it in a past video because it was a freaking brutal, hard-hitting release. Best live performance, the Chameleons in Roseville. Like I said, I talked about it. They had a great set list. People were passionate. Liked the menu. Sounded great. Vox, I thought he put on a good show. And Reg Smithies, tremendous guitarist. And then the drummer that they have right now, he's phenomenal. Todd, he did Soul in Isolation, that intro, just made it so heavy the way he played it. I love that. He just nailed that. Label of the year, I'm giving it to Hell's Headbangers. And not because Justin Horville's got his YouTube channel, he makes those videos, which I watch. They're entertaining sometimes, and there's some times where I disagree and shake my head. But I will say to all three of the brothers and everyone involved at Hell's, I thought they really did a solid job when I ordered stuff. Again, there's no delays. And the Gorephobia picture disc that came out, I talked about that in a prior video here on the channel. That picture disc came out amazing. Just one of the best picture discs that I actually never usually like picture discs. That was worth the purchase. That again, if there's still copies available on Hell's Headbangers, get the Gorephobia picture disc. It is really damn good. And they had, like I said, Perdition Temple they have, and they put out some other stuff, and they got stuff in the works too. 2026, I think, is shaping up to be a good year for Hell's. Sentient Ruin, solid year, but I think Sentient Ruin might have more surprises for 2026. So I'm hoping, really hoping. Intercontinental Metal Champions of the Year. This is given to a band that comes to America from another country, puts on a badass show, and that is Empty Chalice. They are the current Intercontinental Metal Champions because I saw them. They came here. They played in Belmont, played with a couple really talented other black metal bands. Actually, there's 3. But Cardinal, Bazale, man, they were, that was a good show, man. But Empty Chalice from Canada, and I'm hoping 2026 is their year. They're going to put out a new album, man, and the same thing with the upcoming Artist of the Year. I'm giving it to Cardinal from the Bay Area, black metal band. Saw them twice in 2025. Damn, really good black metal. They have the keyboardist. Kind of reminds me of Nocturnal Mortem. Even got a little bit of that early Gorgoroth feel to it. There's just something evil about their sound. And just like I say, it's got the Satanic War Master vibe as well. But they also even kind of got the other 90s black metal bands, Emperor, that you hear a little with the keyboard going, adds to the kind of haunting, spooky element of their music, man. It's just pure evil. And they put on solid shows. I'm hoping you get to see a full-length album from them because that's where it's at. They got a demo out. Check it out. Cardinal Black Metal Band. And their demo is available. You can check it out on their Bandcamp. And then the biggest douche of the year, which this was Sleep Token. Anyone that actually thinks that Sleep Token is heavy or Sleep Token is good music, I got news for you. Sleep Token is a guy cosplaying as some character from a fantasy video game, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, whatever the hell video games, medieval times. That's where Sleep Token should be playing in medieval times while people are eating their fried chicken dinners and watching guys going around smacking each other with plastic swords. Or again, do they use real swords? I've never been in medieval times. I mean, that'd be kind of dangerous that you work at a place where you're getting smacked with actual real swords and real battle axes. It's gotta be gimmicked, right? It's gotta be like WWE. That medieval times. But how would you like to work there? You're fighting, dressed up like a medieval knight, and you got these fat people eating their fried chicken and hamburgers watching you. I'm sorry, that's got to be a very interesting job. Kind of like working at Disneyland. I don't know how you could do that. I think you'd have to go crazy. You must be insane to want to be around all those people with their scooters and their churros and their, God, those dirty diapers. Oh, God, I'd hate that. It'd be like living in hell. But anyway, Sleep Token is the biggest douche of the year. Also, Tesla drivers. I'm throwing you on that as well because I almost got ran over by a Tesla driver. And I hate them. They just suck. For some reason, they can't realize when you're in the pedestrian crosswalk, they need to stop. Don't know why. It's always the Tesla drivers. I've been almost run over more than 10 times for guaranteed by some dumbass driving a Tesla. I'm sorry. They always, for some reason, love to shoot up to the line, and even when you're there already, and they almost just want to run you over like it's okay. I don't know where they get that idea. I don't know how they're getting their driver's license. Maybe I have a Cracker Jack box, but throwing that Tesla driver Sleep Token, biggest douches of the year, hands down. All right, everybody, I'm going to put the blog, the written part below in the description. Thank you for those that support me in 2025. Like I say, 2026, see if I'll make some videos talking about music, topics, additions to the collection here. Got the vinyl CD. Let's, hey man, let's hope 2026 brings us more great releases in the hard rock, metal, post-punk music community. So there we go. All right, everybody. Rob Melguy signing off.